Who do you think gives the Dolphins a better chance to make the playoffs? Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tua? And also another question, just like kind of the same question, who do you think they can go farther with as well if they do make it to the playoffs, Fitz or Tua?
Well, one of my biggest issues is when we were talking about Tua, I think it was last episode. It might have been 2 episodes ago. And we were talking about how he could, it was actually the Cardinals game, I think, and I said he would have a little springboard here with the Chargers and then the Broncos and then the Jets. But what really happens is he gets pulled against the Broncos. He's hurt in the Jets game. Is he going to be back for the Bengals game next week? He's more than likely going to be, but are they going to start him? Now the question marks are swirling, and this game that was supposed to be the third of a 3-game stretch of a trampoline for him going into 4 tough matchups down the stretch, now he doesn't have that anymore. Now he has to go out against Cincinnati, maybe pressing, trying to prove himself, and then he gets greeted with the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Bills to close the season. So that's a concern for me with Tua right now. And as much as I said that I've been okay with him so far, we both agreed he has not been anything special. He's been a game manager in the games he's played so far, and I think that that's okay based on his circumstances, not having played a football. We disagree on this. Not having played a football game in almost a year, not having OTAs, training camp, whatever, to adjust to that offense. I understood it. But when it comes down to a playoff hunt, especially as tight as it is in the AFC, I don't know that you can afford to have that. Even as great as their defense has been, you can't be conservative with your play calling because you don't trust your quarterback or whatever it may be to call the plays that you would with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback. And that's why, as much as I like Tua and I feel like he's been okay, that game that he got pulled and missed game against the Jets is a huge setback for them wanting to play Tua the rest of the season. I think they're going to go with Tua against the Bengals, but I think that when you discuss who would be best for them down the stretch, it might be Ryan Fitzpatrick. We saw him with the Jets. He's as wild card as they come, and he will win you football games or lose you football games. But I think they need to bet on that rather than the conservative play calling and conservative offense that they've been using with Tua.
I think what I'm about to say is gonna make people think that I'm kind of backtracking on my statement, but I'm gonna make it clear. Tua's nothing special, and I don't think he will be anything special. I, in fact, don't even think he'll be the Dolphins franchise quarterback. That's going to be the position they're going to need the most, and he's not going to deliver on that. With that being said, the reason they need to stay with Tua is because I disagree with all your points. I don't think the Dolphins need a playmaker. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is a better playmaker. I mean, he averages over 100 yards per game passing, right? I think he's a better playmaker. He's a better leader. He brings more passion to the team. But with that being said, I think the Dolphins are in a position where they can't afford a Ryan Fitzpatrick because throughout his career, he's either been a great performer or he'll lose you a game. I mean, he wasn't great against the Jets. The Jets just can't score.
Yeah.
But they had turnovers that we could have capitalized on. We just couldn't score.
Yeah, and my answer was no basis on the Jets game.
And the thing about it is that the Dolphins have a great defense. They have great coaching. They have a great special teams unit. They don't need a quarterback who's going to be a gunslinger and cost the team some drives. They don't need a quarterback who's going to take risks. They need a quarterback like Tua who's going to hold on to the ball. He'll take care of it. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns, 0 picks. Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown for 12 touchdowns, 8 picks. So there's a big disparity there. They don't need a playmaker like Fitzpatrick. They don't need a quarterback that's going to want to put the team on his back and play hero ball. They just need a guy like Tua. Throw these little screens, throw these little slants. They don't need nothing special. And that's why I think Tua's the guy moving forward for them if they want to have a better shot at not only securing a playoff spot, but maybe, going above the Bills and winning the AFC East. They need Tua to be there because he's going to protect the ball.
The reason I disagree with you there is because the teams that they're going to have to be facing, and I agree their defense is a top 5 unit in football. I think that's fair to say. But the teams that they're going to be facing, obviously the Bengals are a wash. At least I would hope so. Then you have the Chiefs. That's a high-powered offense. The Patriots, not as much, but you never know with Cam Newton. But then the Raiders can score the football with the best of them, and so can the Bills. And they need pretty much at least 4 out of the next 5 games that they really want a shot at the playoffs the way that this race is shaping out. If they had put themselves in a better position at the start of the season, or if they had beaten the Broncos, I might feel differently. But I don't think that you can sit on your hands and play conservative when you don't really control your own destiny at this point. You need everything you can get. You
talk about those teams, the Raiders and Bills, being teams that can score with the best of them. But no team has been able to score with the Dolphins. I mean, they're second in points allowed. So they're not letting any team come in and score a bunch of points on them, which is why I feel like you don't need Fitzpatrick to come in and throw for 3 touchdowns. That's why Tua's been winning, not even throwing for 100 yards, because you don't need that. The Dolphins don't need that. And at the same time, I guess you can use a narrative that, they're developing him as well. But I don't think they need a guy like Fitzpatrick, because we've seen it firsthand with the Jets. He cost us a playoff spot.
Oh, yeah. I'm the first to admit he's a wild card.
He threw 3 interceptions, I think, or 4 that game. It was 3 or 4. But he had an abysmal game when we were supposed to make the playoffs that year, and he cost us that shot. That's what Fitzpatrick is. He can either win you games or he can lose you games. And for the Dolphins, they can't afford that right now. They need somebody who's going to take care of the ball, and they know what they're going to get out of him.
I understand where you're coming from. Again, I just feel like the teams that they're playing, especially a team like the Chiefs and other teams that are at the top of that AFC race, or the bottom of that AFC race, I should say, because that's where they're going to be battling. Either way, whoever they end up starting, the defense is going to be the key. And if the defense plays well, I agree with you. Tua is the guy. But do you trust the Miami defense to hold the Chiefs' offense like that?
The Chiefs?
So if you're playing a team like the Chiefs, because they're going to face the Chiefs not this upcoming week, but the week after, do you trust the Miami defense against the Chiefs and Tua at the helm against the Chiefs' defense?
I don't trust any team against the Chiefs, any defense.
Fair.
But what I'm going to say about that is that while that's a valid point, I think the Dolphins just need to win 2 games and they secure a playoff spot. I think
really?
they get to 9 wins. They're in the playoffs. I don't think, you have the Raiders there who are in the hunt still, right? And that's about it. The Raiders.
Well, the Raiders, the Colts, the Ravens,
but who's out of
Patriots,
who's
the Browns.
Who's out of the playoffs right now?
The Jets, the Jaguars, the
the teams that matter.
I guess the Broncos and Texans would be the only one. I mean,
they're not making it.
The Patriots are at 5 wins.
They're not going to make it either.
And then beyond that, I think that the Raiders, the Ravens, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Browns.
But who's out of the playoffs right now? There's 7 teams that are in right now.
Oh, the 7 teams that are in are obviously the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Bills. Those are your division winners. Then you have the Browns, the Dolphins, the Colts. So and the Ravens and Raiders are the 2 teams that aren't in.
Okay, so I feel like the only threat is the Ravens. I don't think the Raiders are making it. The Ravens are the only threat, and they have a COVID situation. So who knows what's going to happen from that. But if the Ravens lose, that gives the Dolphins a front row seat, basically, to the playoffs if they lose to the Steelers on Wednesday.
Yeah, and you make a good point there. And a lot depends on circumstance. If things work out in their favor and the defense can be really good and other teams help them out with losses, yes, but with them not having their spots solidified, like them not controlling their own destiny, they can't afford a loss as much as I feel like they could when they had Tua starting in the middle of the season. As cliche as that might sound, going down the stretch. It's tough to say Ryan Fitzpatrick just because we watched him with the Jets blow the playoffs for him, and he has that in him, but then he also has sparks of greatness. The defense is the key, no matter what. No matter who they have at quarterback, that defense will be what will even give them a chance to make the playoffs, let alone win playoff games. But I think that they should go with Tua. As much as I'm saying I think Ryan Fitzpatrick makes more sense, I think they should go with Tua, because if you don't go with Tua after starting him for 3 games in the middle of the season, you're showing no confidence in him. And then how do you really expect him to bounce back from that next year, showing that you don't believe in him in a playoff race? And at that point, you might as well just draft a new quarterback. So I think they should go Tua, but part of me feels like Ryan Fitzpatrick gives them a better chance in games where they're going to need a high-powered offense. And it comes down to the defense. Can the defense keep them in it enough that a conservative offense works? It's a risky bet.
Hey, what's up, guys? You just finished watching a clip of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran.
My name is Jack Barteck.
My name is River Brown.
And we are your hosts for this podcast. We want to thank you guys for watching the clip. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share if you would care to, because it helps us grow. And we're trying to make this a full-time thing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting, and see you next time.